The video How to Use Guys with Secret Tips starts with a young lady called Choi Bo-na. Bo-na has been working in an advertising studio for almost 5 years and has yet to get promoted. She is also often treated unfairly and discriminated against by her supervisor or co-workers due to her unsightly looks and too tomboyish manner. That morning, Bo-na requested one of her female co-workers, Kimmy R.A., a writer, to modify the comic writing on a page. Other co-workers, on the other hand, backed me R.A., claiming that her writing was more accurate and engaging. Bo-na is accustomed to this type of treatment and is often shunned. Following that, Bo-na followed up with a co-worker called Sung Jae on an advertising suggestion. Sung Jae claims he'll earn a promotion shortly after reporting his proposal to Bo-na. Hearing this, Bo-na becomes irritated because she has worked longer than Sung Jae yet has gotten no promotion. Bo-na then approaches her supervisor, Director Yuk Ba-na, and requests that she be promoted as well, but Director Yuk refuses, claiming that Bo-na's look and performance have not improved. Later, a well-known actor called Lee Sung-jae signed a contract with their office studio to discuss shooting a commercial on a beach. Many people looked up to respect and revere Sung-jae when he came on set because of his excellent looks and personality. But, of all the individuals there, only Bo-na chuckled because she recalled the amusing experience that Sung-jae had a few years ago. In the past, Sung-jae, who is still relatively unknown, came to the advertising studio at Bo-na's office and mistook Bo-na for the director, so he displayed all of his abilities. Bo-na is delighted by Sung-jae's antics now that he has become a renowned actor and is behaving cool. Sung-jae is becoming arrogant and doesn't even remember Bo-na, therefore he acts stupid and unconcerned about her. The filming lasted till late at night. Bo-na, who was fatigued, fell asleep on the beach by mistake, and her co-workers abandoned her. Bo-na notices a truck with highly festive lights selling different cassettes and illustrated books when she awakens from her slumber. Later, an elderly guy approached her and handed her a film titled How to Use Guys with Secret Tips. The guy seemed to be aware that Bo-na's life was unpleasant and that she still lacked a lover. The guy then handed Bo-na a present of an illustrated book and a video cassette. When Bo-na got home, he immediately put on the videotape and attentively studied it. A guy says in the film that all of the kinds in the movie would give Bo-na the life she has always desired. Bo-na's first lesson was how to make a guy do what she desired by smiling and establishing eye contact with him. The next day, Bo-na began implementing the video's advice in her everyday life. Bo-na smiled sweetly as she rushed to get a cab, looking at the guy who had previously taken her taxi. This strategy, unexpectedly, enabled Bo-na to get to her workplace on time. While at work, Bo-na begins to smile sweetly at all of her co-workers in the aim of impressing them. One of her co-workers inquires about the video data file from the last advertisement, which was shot on a beach with Sung-jae. When she heard this, Bo-na went straight to her room to seek for the paperwork, but it turned out that she had left her luggage in a cab she had taken earlier. That implies they've lost all of the video files from their commercial shoot. As a consequence, Director Yuk became enraged and chastised her instantly. When Bo-na returned home, she resumed viewing the video instructions to learn how to properly apologize and make other people forgive us promptly. Bo-na quickly put this into effect with her supervisor and convinced them to film again to finish the ad assignment. Again, this strategy was successful in persuading her supervisor to forgive her and assist her. However, Bo-na must approach actor Sung-jae and request that he return to commercial filming. The following day, Bo-na alters her look and goes to Sung-jae's house to request a commercial shoot. She immediately approaches Sung-jae's manager, Lee, to request permission to meet and speak with Sung-jae. Bo-na went directly to Sung-jae and whispered in his ear after successfully convincing manager Lee. All of those tactics were taught to Bo-na by the film she had seen earlier. However, it seems that this strategy has yet to succeed in getting Sung-jae agree with her request. Bo-na then apologizes softly to Sung-jae, believing that this would have an effect on him. Sung-jae, who is still unconcerned, instantly asks Bo-na to leave his apartment, claiming that she is just acting adorable because she needs his assistance. Bo-na is angered by this since she is not a selfish person, as Sung-jae implies. She then said that after working for many years, she had never received a promotion. She was also discriminated against and tormented at work due to her terrible looks. Bo-na instantly bid farewell from Sung-jae's residence after detailing the challenges and bitterness he had encountered so far. Bo-na nearly collapsed as she walked out since she wasn't accustomed to wearing high heels. Fortunately, Sung-jae quickly apprehended Bo-na and assisted her. The next day, Bo-na packs her belongings after learning she may be dismissed for failing to convince Sung-jae. Fortunately, it did not occur because Sung-jae and his management were ready to reshoot their studio advertisement. Bo-na and the rest of the team were getting ready when they learned that the director and his assistant had an accident. Bo-na, concerned that the commercial's production might fail, opted to take over the director's chair and direct the shoot that day. Unexpectedly, Bo-na finished the filming process that day with fantastic results, and everything went off without a hitch. A few days later, director Yuk got compliments from the producers for the excellent outcomes of this commercial shot. In truth, all of this is the product of Bo-na's hard work, who directed the whole shooting process flawlessly. Bo-na and Sung Jae enjoy supper at a posh restaurant in the evening, and their connection becomes closer. Sung Jae and Bo-na kiss and spend the whole night together that night. The next day, Sung Jae said farewell from Bo-na's residence and promised to ask her to dinner again. Bo-na, who seems to be content, appears to be warming up to Sung Jae. Their love connection eventually became exclusive news in many media outlets. They started to meet often and spend time together over time. However, Bo-na gradually understands that Sung Jae contacted her just for her attractiveness. Bo-na is so irritated and outraged after learning about it that she tries to become chilly to Sung Jae. Bo-na said that their connection was hazy since Sung Jae had never professed his affections to her. Sung Jae is bewildered and even intrigued in conquering Bo-na because of her cocky and frigid demeanor. Sung Jae attempts to approach Bo-na and seduces her in order to impress her, but Bo-na continues to neglect Sung Jae, which frustrates him and causes him to lose concentration on his job. After Sung Jae concluded his picture session, he received a message from Bo-na asking him to come over to her home and bring wine. Sung Jae believes Bo-na has fallen for him and wants to rekindle their relationship after seeing the message. Sung Jae, who was eager to sleep with Bo-na, had already stripped naked and sat on her bed. Bo-na, who is just from the restroom, is shocked since she believes she did not invite Sung Jae to her home. Bo-na had intended to tell her colleague to bring wine since she was having dinner with all of her co-workers, but she accidentally messaged Sung Jae. Bo-na's colleagues have already arrived at her door, so she instantly begs Sung Jae to hide. Sung Jae, who was terrified, bolted through the balcony. Unfortunately, it caused the towel that was covering Sung Jae's torso to fall. As a consequence, Sung Jae was entirely nude with no clothing. Sung Jae dashes to his vehicle and dashes back to his apartment. Unfortunately, Sung Jae falls into difficulty again when the police conduct an inspection in the midst of the journey. Sung Jae is embarrassed since he was caught driving while wearing no clothing. Several officers laughed at him and snapped a snapshot of Sung Jae to post on social media. The story of Sung Jae driving nude became widespread until it was covered by a newspaper. The scene shifts to Bo-na viewing the video suggestions she has received to help her transform her life and become more confident. The following day, Bo-na receives an offer from a large advertising firm to work on a large project. Director Yuk, who is aware of this, is likewise pleased and encourages her. Bo-na has gotten several large project proposals since then, and she is currently one of the most well-known filmmakers on the rise. Bo-na once met Sung Jae and another actor called Ji-hoon by chance in an advertisement project where Bo-na would be the director of the commercial shooting. Sung Jae seems to still admire Bo-na and becomes envious anytime Ji-hoon is seen with her. Sung Jae wants to approach and chat to Bo-na, but she seems uninterested. Sung Jae invited Bo-na to accompany him the night after shooting ended, but Bo-na refused and left him. Sung Jae then pursues Bo-na and inquires about his importance in her eyes. Before Bo-na could respond, two females who recognized Sung Jae approached him and begged to take a picture with him. The odd part is, Sung Jae even rolled his eyes and declared that he wasn't Sung Jae, but simply a regular person with a similar look. The girl was taken aback and instantly fled, abandoning him. Bo-na laughed out loud when she watched Sung Jae's amusing move since she believed he was really foolish. Bo-na and Sung Jae begin to reconcile, and that night they plan to eat together at Bo-na's residence. Sung Jae offered Bo-na an illustrated book while preparing an omelet. Sung Jae and Bo-na were so preoccupied with their conversation that they forgot to turn off the burner. As a consequence, Bo-na's stove caught fire, and they had to put it out right away. They were terrified and rushed to put out the flames. Bo-na and Sung Jae laughed out loud after successfully extinguishing the fire because of the bizarre situation they had just seen. That night, Sung Jae discovers the footage that Bo-na has been exploiting to exploit all males. He was upset and promptly departed Bo-na after learning this. Sung Jae's attitude toward Bo-na has now reverted to chilly and uncaring, since he believes Bo-na has taken advantage of him. A few days later, Bo-na got an offer of collaboration from a well-known advertising director called Park. Director Park recently encouraged Bo-na to work on a project with him. Sung Jae goes to Bo-na in the evening and wants her to explain everything about the video. Bo-na went on to say that the video helped her live a better life since she had never been acknowledged by anybody before. Even the video causes Sung Jae to recollect and recognize her own existence. The next day, Bo-na begins working on her project with Director Park. Director Park, on the other hand, organized all of the video's techniques and themes. Bo-na seems irritated because the shooting procedure did not proceed as planned. She then objected to Director Park's decision to shoot according to the previously intended idea. but director Park dismissed her remarks and told her to obey his instructions. Sung Jae and Ji-hoon fight in the same building after a misunderstanding in which Sung Jae believes Ji-hoon has a connection with Bo-na. Meanwhile, Bo-na, who is irritated, decides to switch off the power and instructs the primary cameraman to obey her instructions. Simultaneously, Ji-hoon and Sung Jae attend a news conference to clarify their past mistake. When manager Lee inadvertently lowers the barrier between the meeting room and the ad studio, Sung Jae notices director Park reprimanding Bo-na. Sung Jae, who disagreed of director Park's handling of Bo-na, contacted him immediately and supported Bo-na. Sung Jae admits that Bo-na is someone who may drive him insane, and it's difficult to ignore her. Director Park, on the other hand, despite the fact that Bo-na had purposefully planned the situation to boost her status, Bo-na is insulted and declares that she is not such kind of person. As a consequence of the dispute between director Park and Bo-na, Sung Jae, who was irritated, quickly struck director Park, generating a ruckus. Fortunately, the situation had been addressed, and director Park had also departed the location. Following that, Sung Jae and Bo-na converse. Because he loves Bo-na so passionately, Sung Jae claims he is prepared to be the guy she takes advantage of. Bo-na grinned and hugged Sung Jae right away. They kiss after Bo-na begs Sung Jae to shut his eyes. The lesson of this film is that in order to preserve a romantic relationship, we must offer one another knowledge and understanding of each other.